Okay. So each site was expected to develop its own business case. I did that for our site. And here's a lesson learned. When you create a business case that exposes that there's a huge opportunity for a positive impact, don't believe that that message is going to be necessarily perceived all that well, because I took the approach of looking at where we stood on maintenance spending as a percentage of replacement value versus best in class to define that maintenance spending reduction opportunity, but also did some extensive OEE calculations by looking at, all right, what's our best month of production in each one of the operating areas? If you can do it for a month, you ought to be able to do it for a year. So I defined that business opportunity. Then I took those numbers, cut them in half, and said, man, that's still too big. Cut them in half again. So I went and presented that to the leadership team, and they laughed me out of the room. They could not believe that they were mismanaging the resources of that site to that great a degree. Now, I got the last laugh because in the third year, we're surpassed that business case and kept on going. So, all right, so just expect that. Significant OEE improvement. We didn't have a universal way to measure OEE at all the sites, but each individual site had some OEE improvement things, and they were significant. And I remember at Sam's site, one thing that really hit me when I was at one of their communication meetings, the plant manager put up a slide that showed, here's our break-even volume over time, the volume needed to break even versus actual production volume. So break-even volume was going down because they were reducing cost. Production volume is going up because they're improving capacity. All right, and that really resonated with me. The site, you know, that where I got laughed out of the leadership team meeting, they ended up doubling the business case results. We were tracking cost of reliability events, those major reliability events that cost you a lot of production, steadily declining over time, and significant benefits in procurement of reducing costs and improved service levels, as I mentioned. This is a chart of the 4 sites that tracking it, the maintenance spending as a percentage of replacement asset value. The benchmark value for this industry is somewhere around 2%. I was at the dark blue plant. At our base year, we spent $39.1 million in maintenance. We had 200 maintenance craftspeople and on average 250 contractors at that site at that point. In year 7, we spent $17 million and we had 173 maintenance craftspeople and 6 contractors just by making work go away. So if you notice, all the sites started at different points and some had to make some investments, but they all got to about the same place. Okay.
I guess the one thing I would emphasize, you said about don't underestimate the level of change management.
Yeah.
It's a challenge within one single site. I think we would all know that, but to have that occur across 7 sites, we had an executive sponsor that walked around with his finger in the air, one solution for 7 sites.
Yeah.
And that was also very important because he was a big driver of that.
Yeah. And I'll never forget when he came to the site that I was at, the executive sponsor came in, he said, I've implemented 4 maintenance systems in my career. This is going to be the last one. We are going to dismantle the past and hardwire the future. And that was sustained up until he moved on. Okay. But having that executive sponsorship is pretty critical as well.